Hi, Dirty Girl here with another vintage sales report from eBay and Etsy. And this is for the month of November 2018. And I'm just going to show you my the better sales I've had over the past month, the more profitable or interesting in some other way. And I'm going to start with eBay because I don't do a lot of business on eBay. I just do a few things. Most of everything I sell is on Etsy. So the first sale I want to tell you about is this folk art painted blue box. I got that at the flea market for $20, and as you can see, it sold for $275. I was very, very pleased about that. It was just an awesome, cool box. And spoiler alert, that is the best sale I had all month. And this is a signed original watercolor by Patrice Pendarvis of a Hawaiian landscape. And my mother-in-law actually bought this at the rummage sale at her retirement home, and she paid, you know, somewhere between $5 and $10 for it, but then she gave it to me. So, because I looked it up for her and told her what that Pendarvis was a well-known painter and what her paintings were selling for, and so she said, well, here, you sell it. So I did. I sold it for $175, so that was nice. And the third and final item on eBay is this antique tintype photo. This came in a lot of photos that I bought at the flea market for $60. And so this sold for $72, so I got my money back on this at least. And there are a few others that have sold or I hope will sell. But anyway, it's a really interesting photo of a very beautiful African-American woman, and she's just very nicely dressed with a hat and jewelry and this beautiful dress. It appears to be around the 1860s. She has, I love the little handkerchief hanging from her ring. Just so adorable. So that was really neat to sell that. And moving on to Etsy. This is a silver plate wick trimmer for a candle. Made by John Gilbert, and it's an antique dating from the 1800s, and I paid $10 for those at the flea market and sold them for $48. And this is a duck decoy, hand painted, but probably machine carved. Not really sure. Don't know a lot about duck decoys. I just saw him and thought he was really cute. I paid $10 for him at the flea market. Sold him for $67. And he is, I was even able to identify the kind of duck he is. He's a northern pintail. So there you have it. I am, in another incarnation, I'm a bird watcher. So I like my birds. And this is a Navajo turquoise and sterling silver bracelet. Very nice piece. And let's see, I paid $20 for that at the flea market and sold it for $64. And this is another painting. I got this also at the rummage sale at my mother-in-law's place. I actually sold a pair of these. One was from Seville and one was from Cordoba. And they're like watercolors that are painted by street artists and sold as souvenirs, probably back in the mid-century era. And I paid, let's see, I believe I paid $10 for the pair and sold the pair for $90. And this is an interesting piece. It's a sterling silver rosary bracelet. So when you can't carry your rosary with you, you just put it on a bracelet around your wrist and you always have it. And there are different prayers attached to different beads on the bracelet and the different metals. That's really cool. I paid $12 for that at the flea market and sold it for $35. And this is a hip flask. It was made just after World War II in the German-U.S. zone, which is kind of the equivalent to Japan's occupied Japan mark. So it would have been between 1945 and 1950, I think. Hammered look, tin-lined silver plated on brass, has a blank space for a monogram, and I paid $5 for that at the flea market and sold it for $37. I apologize for the noisy traffic. Good heavens. It was quiet a few minutes ago. I was thinking on Christmas Eve it would be nice and quiet, but it's not. And here we have an Art Nouveau silver plate hand mirror. It was marked by Hope Silver Company, and I was able to date it to the early 1900s. And it had a lot of really pretty flowers and things on it. And I paid $8 for that at the flea market and sold it for $35. And this is a set of black onyx beads. Very nicely made, hand knotted 8mm beads, and they had a really nice clasp that was a good indicator of the age. I dated them, well, I don't know what I dated them to. Maybe I didn't exactly date them, but older. They're probably mid-century or older. And I paid $5 for those. I believe I got those at the rummage sale at the retirement home, and sold them for $62. I bet you that clasp is 14 karat gold. Oh yeah, it is there. I see it. It is 14 karat gold. So that helps with the price. And this is one of my favorite pieces. This is known as a Santo statue. It's a Spanish or Mexican carved statue of a saint, carved out of wood and painted. And this one is the Virgin Mary with baby Jesus. They kind of have a nice folk art look to them. And it's a particular style where they're holding out one hand and there's a rosary in the hand. And this one, I dated it to the 1960s. It has glass eyes, which is a very desirable thing. And I did pay $50 for this at the flea market because I just fell in love with it. I thought it was so neat. And I was able to sell it for $145, so turned out okay. This was just a beautiful mid-century necklace marked Marcel Boucher. Pretty desirable maker. I bought it for $2 at the flea market and sold it for $48. And this is a Tibetan, that part of the world anyway, Tibet, Nepal, somewhere around there. Cool, chunky bracelet with these nice agate cabochons. And I paid $10 for that at the flea market and sold it for $32. This was a really cool Navajo ring. It's a turquoise, and it's a great big pentagon-shaped flat stone men's ring. It's really nice to find the men's rings. I paid, where is it, $20 for that, and I sold it for $75. And this was cute. I just included this because it was cute. I don't sell a lot of books. I love books, but sadly they normally don't sell for a whole lot. But I just had to buy this one. It was a tiny little book called The Herbalist, published in 1934. And there's a picture of the cover. It has that Native American on it. And it was just like it had just come off the presses. It was so clean and beautiful. And it had all these lovely photos and illustrations of plants. Just really neat. And, oh, and a friend of mine gave it to me. So, it's another seller. He's like, oh, here, I don't sell books. Just take this. He does that for me sometimes. He's really nice. And so I sold it for $25. So it didn't sell for a whole lot, but, you know, it was pure profit because I got it for free. So that was okay. And this is a Native American piece signed by Dan Dodson, which is a very good artist to look for. And it was just this beautiful, quite large piece of beautiful blue turquoise. And I paid $5 for that, and I sold it for $125. Most of that due to the artist's name. And then I sold this little glass vase. I believe that was in my last haul video that I got from my mother-in-law. WMF Myra Cristal bud vase from Germany, made between 1926 and 1935. Little tiny thing. Paid nothing for that. Sold it for $74. And this is a cool item. This is a bronze, just like a little trinket dish, something to maybe put your change in the shape of these two adorable bulldogs or pit bulls. Dates probably from the 1800s, and I paid $18 for that at the flea market. I did have to sit on it for a while, but I sold it for $85, so that was nice. And this was just an odd thing that I bought because I had to have it. It's the top of a chair. And it's in what I call an Eastlake furniture style. I think it's Eastlake, painted black anyway, with this kind of incised carving and very arts and craft looking kind of thing from the 1800s. And what I did was I hung it over a door. Let's see if I can find a picture of what I did with it. Like that, or over a window. Just, you know, as a decoration. I thought it was really cool. Anyway, I paid $10 for that, and I sold it for $38. And this is just an etched gold tone, gold plate, gold filled, I guess, hinged bangle bracelet. Has kind of an Art Nouveau look to it, and it was marked CLP Company. It's an antique from the Edwardian era. And let's see, gold plated. It says here I paid nothing for that, so I must have gotten that from my sister-in-law or my mother-in-law. I don't remember. And I sold it for $42. And these eagle bookends are very interesting. I got these at the rummage sale for $6 for the pair. They were very large and heavy plaster, painted plaster. But I just like the looks of them. And as I did a little research on them, it turns out they're made by Borghese. And they are known as the JFK Oval Office bookends because President Kennedy had an identical pair in the Oval Office at one time. And there you can find photos of these bookends in his office, which is kind of cool. So anyway, I paid $6 for them, as I said. I sold them for $55. And they were not fun to ship. They were very heavy and big and bulky and awkward. Oh, this was so cute. I just love this little pin. It's from the 1930s. It's an American Canco advertising pin. And it's a can opener with these two little dangling tin can charms. And it was, extolling the virtues of canned foods. And, oh, look at that. I have here a vintage item from the 1980s. I messed that up. It's from the 1930s. But anyway, it did sell. I guess the lady who bought it did know what it was. Paid $8 for it and sold it for $38. And the lady who bought it said she was going to have it renovated. And this is a turquoise locket. Kind of similar to that Dan Dodson pin that I sold, except that it's a locket. Paid $15 for that and sold it for $48. Oops. Another really nice piece of turquoise. And we have another Art Nouveau mirror. This is a very tiny one. Brass with this tasteful nude lady kind of putting her arms around the mirror. I think this one was not marked, but it was clearly old, and I paid $10 for it and sold it for $35. And the last item I have to show you is this modernist sterling silver link bracelet, which I learned recently is called a panther link, this sort of open brick looking link. It's a nice big hefty bracelet, and I paid I paid $10 for it, and I sold it for $38, and I got it at the flea market. So that's it. that's my sales report for November. I know it's a little late. Christmas is always kind of dicey around here. But anyway, hope to see you soon. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't, and leave a comment if you care to. I try to acknowledge all comments. And no Muffin today. I don't know where she is, but hope to have another haul video soon with a muffin in it. So thanks. See you soon. Merry Christmas if you celebrate, and otherwise happy whatever you happen to be doing right now. Thanks. Bye.